you guys leaving tomorrow, right? Derek?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yes. Because it's an early game.
Yeah, it's 12:30, so we'll leave tomorrow after practice.
Okay. All right.
Kyrie talked about, when him and LeBron were figuring out how to have success in the playoffs, a lot of that was respecting when it was the other guy's turn to take over. What have you seen as far as that growth with Kyrie and Luka? I mean, there were growing pain moments early, after the trade, and we've seen some of the successful moments this season.
Yeah, I think it's just I think Kai said it best. It's just understanding each other, and I think sometimes we want things to happen instantly, and it didn't happen after the trade. But you can see since the preseason and the regular season that the understanding is at a high, and they both trust one another and have confidence in one another of making a play for a teammate or for themselves.
Coach, on March 5, you got a pretty bad loss to Indiana, and all of us in the room pretty much buried you, and you're the worst, and you took a lot of very questions patiently. You said, give it time, it'll work itself out. Obviously it has. Do you feel vindicated in any way with that?
No, it's just part of the job as being a coach. You're going to be criticized about what others think. There's nothing I can do but do my job and support and help the guys in that locker room. Patience is a key in life, not in sport, but in real life. And hopefully people can understand that. But those guys in that locker room understand patience and understood what the journey. The season wasn't over on March 5th. It wasn't our first loss. It wasn't our first bad loss. So it's just a matter of learning. Sometimes matchups, you get bad matchups, and it happens. But as long as you keep learning and everybody stays together, and that's what happened, I would say, after March 5th, with all the opinions that were right or wrong. But that's just part of our business. That's just what it is. I've been in this too long to complain. I'm always going to take questions in a positive way and learn from it. And so, Vindicated, no. Goal is to win a championship. I've had the opportunity to do it as a player and a coach. Now, I would like to do it again as a coach.
Jason, I know all your players are important, but how important has Gafford been to your team?
Yeah, Gaff has been important. Being able to start, bring him off the bench, start. He's about the team. He's given us something that we haven't had here, and to be able to have Gaff and DLive, two guys who can protect the rim, protect the paint, and then on the offensive end, being able to finish with the lobs. Again, when you talk about Gaff, he's been mentioned with one of the best in the world to do it, and that's Wilt, and that just doesn't happen every day. So he's been a big part of our success.
You mentioned DLive. I know you said you wanted to see how he would respond to the first practice the other day. Just how did he respond, and how did he look today?
Yeah, he's done incredible. He's an incredible young man. His spirit is in a good place. Of what he's going through off the floor, you wouldn't know with the way that he had practice today, but we all know, being with him yesterday, what he's going through. So as a 20-year-old, he's been incredible, and so we're here to support what he's going through off the floor. But again, he came to work today and he did a great job.
Kyrie also said he feels like it's been a pretty long road. So I think he's at 6 years since he's had a 50-win season. How poised do you think he is and well positioned right now, mentally, physically, to help carry this team on maybe another run?
Yeah, I think Kai's in a great place. When you look at physically and mentally, as he's brought up, I guess it's been a while since he's won 50, but he was a big reason for us to win 50, and you could see when you talk about late game. But just down the stretch here, of late, he's been playing incredible, and we're going to need that in this series.
A couple of days ago, we were talking about the star power of the 6 probably Hall of Famers in the series. How do you
7 count him.
Well, yeah. Well, he's already in. Now those other guys are not.
There you go, D. I appreciate that, D.
How do you think that will affect this series? Do you think it will lift the level of play?
Well, the play is going to be high when you talk about that talent in the future Hall of Famers. But I think a lot of us understand that there's always an X factor, and it's not a star. It's going to be someone that comes off the bench or someone who isn't, talked about a lot, that's going to be in the right place at the right time. And so you always believe stars are going to be stars. You try to make it tough. They've seen everything. But there's that X factor of that guy who does catch fire, or who makes a incredible steal. But just that X factor, that person being in the right place at the right time.
Jason, this time of year, late game, what are those moments like for you when it's pressure time and maybe you have to drop a play to try and win a game, or push the right button, put the right guy in? What is that like for you?
Yeah, I think it's fun. It's a great situation when you talk about late game. A lot of times the late game stuff, as a coach, you've already gone through it with the guys, and so it's just a matter of being prepared. And we've done a lot of the late game stuff going forward here, and those guys being able to respond. And the great test is during the games during the season, being able to put the guys in a position to be successful. This year, I think we finished second in clutch, and so, but it helps to have talent when you talk about Luka and Kai, that you truly believe one of those guys will get open, or they're going to be where they get someone else a wide open look because they get all the attention.
Coach, as mentioned, you were a Hall of Famer, you were a great player. I want to ask about your time as a coach, though. You just become one of the better coaches in the NBA. What do you think, what have you learned from your time as a coach in the league so far?
Yeah, coaching is not easy. I didn't come up in the coaching ranks. I came in as a player, and it's taken me time, and it's going to continue to take time. Understanding, some will say the players are different. It's hard, and you have to work. But understanding as a player, you cannot be afraid to fail, and that's, I'm not afraid to fail, and to learn from failures. No one's perfect in this room, and no one's perfect on the floor, and so understanding where you've made your mistakes, look at the mistakes and try to correct them so that you don't make them again, and continue working at your craft. And as a coach, no different than a player, you spend a lot of time in the gym, and you spend a lot of time looking at the TV or the computer, trying to put your players in a position to be successful. And so as a coach, I'm not afraid to fail. I'm not afraid to sit here and say that I made a mistake. But we will bounce back and we'll be better.
I know it's not the same league that you played in, but what are some of those similarities from back then?
No, these young men are very talented. Just understanding the skill set that they do have, the importance of the three. When we played with the peach baskets, it was about being closer to the peach basket, as close as you could. So that means throwing it to the tallest guy. Just you look at 6'10" point guards. You look at the three, the depth that these young men are shooting the ball, and so. It's the athlete has maybe changed, but the game is still, the same. And this time of the year, the game slows down a little bit, but it's about will, it's about want, and that hasn't changed. This time of the year, if you want to win the championship.
Back to Gafford, is anything about his game that surprised you, or has he done what you guys anticipated he would do?
No, we felt, with the trade that he was what we wanted. I think when you look at his hands, great hands, being able to finish, as we talked about, has had multiple streaks here. But just, I think his attitude, when you talk about Gaff and PJ coming in, I think they really have helped change the culture, the chemistry of fitting right in and not, complaining. They just came in and did their work at a very high level, and I think that's rubbed off on the other guys that are here.